Ahoy there, YouTube! I am back again today for another weekly video log. It is October 12th, 2015. I hope you're doing well. It's Columbus Day, which I just found out because I didn't have any mail. Because I love getting mail. But this is a jammed-packed episode. You can't really see it, but there is a huge stack of games going on over here. So we're not actually going to have a main topic this week. We're just going to be talking about a whole bunch of games. I got stuff I want to talk to you about. I actually made a list. That's how much we have to talk about this week. So this week we're going to be talking about the games that I got in the mail this week, and the games I got a chance to play, because I played a lot of games this week, and hopefully a lot more this week as well. I reviewed quite a few things. I'm going to talk about a game that has never hit the table, why that is. I'm going to be giving some shout-outs to some various different people, and so let's just get right down to it. But before we get started, I do want to ask one thing, and that is the subscribe button. So I've decided to add a subscribe button, which was as per something that you should do on YouTube to bump up your subscribers and all that sort of stuff. It's somewhere down here. It's a little teeny tiny. Let me know what you think about it, because they give you the option to put it at the very beginning, the very end, or throughout the entire video. So I figured not too many people get all the way to the end, and at the very beginning sometimes people aren't even paying attention, so I put it the whole way through, and I tried to make it as tiny as possible, so let me know what you think about that. Also, some other shout-outs before we get started. Last week I mentioned that hopefully I'd be on this week's episode of Board Game Blender, Board Game Breakfast, which is part of the Dice Tower. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that is still the case, because as you can see, this is in glorious widescreen. I finally figured out how to do that, so be sure to look out for that. Fingers crossed that still happens. I wanted to talk to you about Chaz Marlar, who is Paradise, fantastic guy. I've not personally got the pleasure of meeting him, unfortunately. Super nice guy. We're friends on Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing. And he's actually running a Pod Pledge campaign. It's like Kickstarter or GoFundMe or anything like that, but to do the Paradise, to do another season of that, highly recommend checking that out. And he made the website himself, which, God, I swear, every other board game reviewer has a way cooler job than me, but still, super nice guy. I'll post a link down below to check that out. Last but not least, if you're interested in seeing me cursing in a short horror film, and I mean short, I mean it's like 8, 9, 10 minutes, very, very not suitable for work. That was just released by Open Sign Productions, a local company, or a local little film crew that likes to do some cool stuff. They've made a couple feature films, actually, which I was in one of them, but I'll post a link down below to that. I'm only in it for like the first minute, but just fair warning, it is very, very inappropriate, not suitable for work. Lots of cussing, blood, gore, all that sort of stuff. But let's get to games, because that's what you're here for, and I have a lot to talk about. So I'm just going to start randomly grabbing and talking. So the first game I have to talk about is The Last Spike from Columbia Games. I just got this one in the mail last week, and I was very, very excited to play this. The Board Game Geek, who is, I found that our tastes align quite frequently, really liked this game. It's lightweight. It plays up to 6 players. I was really excited to get this one to the table, and we were going to get to the table Saturday, and then unfortunately it was missing a couple components, which I think is partially because I'm pretty sure they self-box each of their games. I've never had any of the games from them before. So hopefully that's not an epidemic problem. I doubt it is. So I'm getting replacement parts for that. But this looks like a lightweight family/filler game. We're going to be laying down train tracks. Looks fantastic. I'm excited to get it to the table. Hopefully I'll get some replacement parts this week and talk about it next week. Continuing onward, I got a lot of Munchkin. I got home, I think it was Thursday, I got home to a 4-pound box from Steve Jackson Games. And I was expecting, yes, there to be some Munchkin, but there to be other things. And no, it was just straight up Munchkin. I got a 15-card expansion of Munchkin, Dragon Munchkin, Dragon Strike, which you'll see a review of that. I already implemented it into my Munchkin box. But I got Munchkin Wizard of Oz, I got Steampunk Munchkin Deluxe, and then I got Munchkin Oz. And this past weekend I got a chance to play the little expansion, Dragon Strike, which is pretty good if you like Munchkin. It's an insta-buy if you like Munchkin. And I got a chance to play these two. In fact, you'll actually be able to see the review of this one later this week. Before we get started, I do want to mention that none of these reinvent the wheel. Munchkin Steampunk I know nothing about, but it does have the board because it's the deluxe version. I don't really like Steampunk, but I do enjoy Munchkin from time to time. So I'll put that one on the side. I've not got a chance to play it. Now let's talk about Munchkin Oz, which is pretty good. This is just more Munchkin, easily implemented into any other version of Munchkin. It's got humorous artwork, everything you expect from Munchkin. But the interesting game amongst this bunch, and I know you're like, God, just stop talking about Munchkin, please. You might actually find this interesting. This is Munchkin: The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this is actually not made by Steve Jackson Game. It was actually produced by USAopoly. And I gotta tell you, they really screwed this up. This is not good. Do not get this, even if you like Munchkin. I was blown away by how much they screwed the pooch on this, and I'll tell you why. So when I opened this, I was really excited, because the first thing I noticed is normally you get your custom D6 die that they always do, and this custom D6 die, this is the nicest custom D6 die I think I've ever seen. This is an absolutely outstanding die. They actually have a nice little box insert divider in here, so you could put 2 versions of Munchkin in here, maybe 3 pretty nicely, which is ideal for a game of Munchkin. And I was like, okay, this is going to be great. The rule booklet is very much the same as per all the other Munchkin because, well, they don't really need to change everything. But this game has been stripped of its humor and its unique art style, and it's terrible. Like, I'm going to put it like this. I'm a fan of Munchkin. I know that's a very unpopular opinion amongst a lot of people. A lot of people who played a lot of games, and amongst reviewers in particular. But this version of Munchkin, while it does have the Munchkin gameplay, makes me see the other side of the fence because they have bastardized the game of Munchkin. This is a dang shame. I can't wait to tear into this game on the review because, as you can see, the Munchkin artwork that you know, and if you like Munchkin that you really love, with that unique art style, is gone. They decided to focus completely on just making it look like The Nightmare Before Christmas. Whereas the Munchkin Oz is like a mashup of Munchkin and The Wizard of Oz, which I really like. This one they said, no, forget that. And the other thing they got rid of? They got rid of nearly all the flavor text on the card. All the humor in the game has been stripped away. And when you strip away that humor, you have an okay take that game that's a little bit too lengthy. And this game is just garbage. This is not a good game. Even if unless you're a Munchkin collector and you want to have every single version of the game, steer clear of this one. God, I don't know how you really screw up Munchkin. It's like screwing up Flux. I don't know how you do it, but congratulations, USAopoly. You have successfully screwed up Munchkin. Pat yourselves on the back for that. So yes, I'm done talking about Munchkin for this episode, I promise. Continuing on with other games, in fact, fantastic games, let's talk about Between Two Cities. As many of you know, I have expressed my dire love for this game in prototype form. This is one of the few prototypes that routinely still got played after I did my review, and the final version is here, and I'll put it like this. Get it. That's it. This game is fantastic. Unless something absolutely amazing happens, which I will potentially talk about a competitor for this, this is probably my early 2015 game of the year. Now, granted, I'm playing a game right now which might potentially usurp this, but still, Between Two Cities, absolutely outstanding. It's a dual cooperative game. You're working with the person on your left and your person on the right, but those two people are not working together. It just scratches so many itches. It plays 7 players very quickly, very briskly. It's very easy to learn and to teach because it has that co-op aspect where the person on your left and your right want you to succeed, so they are explaining to you, hopefully they're explaining to you, how everything works and all the moving parts. Very simplified game. I'm looking forward to playing the solo version of the game. I'll probably do a couple videos showing off the Autonoma on that because I really enjoyed it with Viticulture. But God, Between Two Cities from Stonemaier Games is fantastic. You need to get that game if you like games. I mean, I'm just going to put it like that. I really don't think anyone's going to actively dislike that game. Continuing onward, I got Fate of Indignes. This is part of the BattleCon system. Now, as many of you know, I don't generally review too many head-to-head combat games. It's not because I dislike them, it's just because my primary person I play with is either my game night or my wife. And my wife does not like head-to-head combat games, so 2-player head-to-head combat games generally don't get played because normally on game nights, it's not like, hey, you 4 go play this, and then we're going to play this by ourselves. It just doesn't happen. However, my wife was nice enough, Level 99 Games, reached out to me and said, hey, we've got this game coming out. Would you like to check it out? And she was like, yeah, I guess I'll play it with you. So needless to say, hopefully you'll see a review of this in the next month. It's part of the BattleCon system, which I know quite a few people are a big, big fan of. I don't like the art style, but I'm still excited coming into this with an open mind. It looks really cool. Another game from Level 99 Games, currently on Kickstarter right now, two-player fighting game, is the Exceed fighting system. They sent me this to do a Kickstarter review of it, if I like it, or a preview. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? It's just this deck of cards, so it probably should be a pretty easy review, hopefully. Hoping to get that played tonight or tomorrow or sometime later this week. The Kickstarter's got 20 days left, so it's not really a time-sensitive thing, but I am going on vacation. Another vacation, which never happens. But luckily, pretty much my wife's family is paying for this vacation. We're actually going to Florida for a couple days, so that'll be quite fun. So hopefully I will get it up before I leave for Florida. Now, I alluded to the fact that there is another game that I'm playing right now that might potentially usurp Between Two Cities as my 2015 Game of the Year. And many of you may have guessed it if you've watched my top 30 and top 20 and top 30 games of all time, and that is Pandemic Legacy. No worries, not going to spoil anything right now. Me and my wife are 4 games into this, and oh my gosh, I'm surprised I'm not getting theme on the carpet, because this is dripping with theme. It is gushing with theme. This box is just, I don't know what I'm doing with my shirt, but it's doing that with theme. Oh my good golly. Me and my wife are playing through this 2 players, and I am loving it. It is fantastic. Now, I do have some concerns that worry me a little bit. We're playing it 2 players right now, and our last 2 games we've played have been very, very easy. Our first game was very difficult. Our second game was about regular Pandemic. But our third and fourth game, and we won all 4 of the games, were incredibly easy. Now, we've gotten some very, very lucky breaks, one of which was we actually had, when you set out the major outbreaks, I was able to cure 2 major outbreaks on the first turn as a medic, which instantly made the game way easier. But still, I'm hoping that as we progress, it ramps up the difficulty. But man, I'm really enjoying this game. I'm going to try to just answer some generic questions that people might have about this game. Does it play well with 2? Right now, yes, it's a lot of fun, but like I mentioned, I'm worried about the difficulty of the game coming into play. But that might just be because me and my wife have gotten lucky and made good choices. I will tell you when we get further into the game. Is it something that I could add extra players? And I actually wrote this on a Board Game Geek forum or Reddit forum or something like that. Yes, me and my wife have played it 2 players, but if someone wanted to jump in as a 3rd player, I don't think that would detract from the game and from the storyline, and mostly just from the storyline, because there is a really cool story going on in this game, because essentially what's happening is, we're trying to fight off the cures for the world, but if a 3rd person were to jump in, it would just feel like, hey, this guy's coming in to join us, because, the problem is escalating, and he'd take on another character, and lots of cool stuff would happen. Now, would I want to play it with a different group each time? I don't think I would want to, because the game slowly but surely is adding more and more rules. And I'm not going to go too in-depth on any of that, but it's adding more rules. And I don't think I'd really want to explain all those rules each time to different people. Because I imagine by the time we get to, September, October, November, December, because it goes month by month in this game, where you start off in January and you progress onward, there's going to be a lot of rules. I have a feeling that this is going to be a very, I don't want to say meaty, but it's going to be a very, almost fiddly game, but since it's slowly introducing all these different aspects, it doesn't feel fiddly. It's just like, okay, we're adding one thing this month, and then another thing this month, and then another thing this month, and then in 2 months we're going to add something else. But needless to say, Matt Leacock is my favorite designer of all time. He was before Pandemic Legacy, and dear God, is he still now. Pandemic Legacy is really freaking good. You need to check this one out. Continuing onward, I got a chance to check out the expansion to Crisis Hunters. I actually posted a review of this last week. This is a small micro game. This is an expansion to it. It adds lava pits and more characters. Big fan of that. If you like Crisis Hunters, I definitely recommend checking this one out. It's really cool, a lava pit. I like how that works, and the extra characters is just awesome. But granted, I know a lot of people are not the biggest fan of Crisis Hunters. Another game that I got a chance, that I actually put up a preview of last week, and I want to talk about a little bit because it is a pretty big Kickstarter going on right now, is Boogie Dice, which is this die right here. If you haven't checked out my preview of this, it is a die that rolls itself, and it's going to be a customizable die, so it will be able to be played in numerous different games. And I actually had somebody talk to me, somebody I know personally, and like, should I back this because you gave it a preview, and I know that you say when you give something a preview, that means you would not recommend it as a game. And I reiterate that all the time. That yes, when I give something a preview, that generally means that I'm not the biggest fan of it. And I know a lot of people have told me that they skip over those videos because they just know they're not going to back it. This is one of those exceptions, and I do mention this in the video, that this is a really cool concept. And the main reason that I gave it a preview instead of a review is because I was doing the game and the accessory at the same time. And these are not necessarily the same thing, because this die is going to be able to be implemented into different games in the future, which it sounds like a really cool concept to me. The game itself I actually did enjoy. It had some interesting mechanism. It is a real-time game, which is going to be stressful for some people. In fact, some of the people I played with thought it was too stressful, but I enjoyed it. The die itself, it gave me a lot of trouble, but that's a prototype die. And the main reason why, and I wanted to just show this so I can share my pain, is that this is the charge that they sent me to charge the die, because it is promotional, minus the dog hair. I tried to do that as my own little unique modification to it. So you have to, like, stick it into these little tiny prongs in there. You won't, obviously. You're actually going to have a nice charger that's easy, but this is me. This is first world problems here, being a board game reviewer and previewer. But it was really difficult to charge it, and it would charge for like 30 seconds, and then it would go off, so I'd have to constantly like touch it just a little tiny bit so the wires would go in there. It was a nuisance, but needless to say, this still has, I think, like 10, 15 days left on there. And if you like technology, you like the idea of technology, or you like real-time games, this is one I would recommend checking out. I just wanted to add that to my weekly video blog because I didn't want people to think I previewed it and didn't like it. Now, one thing I do want to mention right now, as part of my Board Game Breakfast segment, is that I'm also going to be doing Kickstarters, as long as Tom doesn't tell me to stop doing that. And I'm only going to be mentioning because I'm doing the week in review where it's going to be under a minute and when I talk about the games that I had a chance to review that week. But I'm also going to do some Kickstarter games, hopefully give them some exposure, give them a little bit of love. But I'm only going to do that to games that I recommend. So, for instance, like this week, I gave a preview to Gambling and Hookers, so I'm not going to mention that in next week's Week in Review, assuming that he takes my my video and utilizes it. So yeah, continuing on, I have one more game to talk about that I got a chance to get in the mail. That is from Far Off Games. Now, if you don't know who Far Off Games are, they were the creators of Xia, Legends of the Drift System, which is on my shelf, and I don't see it leaving my shelf anytime soon, even though it's a really hard game to get to the table. It is an amazing space exploration sandbox game that completely leaves Firefly in the dust for me personally. Firefly, the game. One I highly enjoyed. So when Cody of Far Off Games reached out to me, he's like, "Hey, I got another Kickstarter game coming out. Would you be interested in doing a review or preview of it?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, no problem." So I was expecting something a little bit different, but it's actually this game right here, Tabarua. But I guess it's about surfing. So, needless to say, I haven't got a chance to play this. I'm hoping to get it to the table this week. I'm not sure how many players it even plays, actually. But the rulebook looks very helpful. Tons of pictures, illustrations, and examples. But yeah, so that is an upcoming game from Far Off Games, a surfing game. So hopefully that one is good and he can keep up his winning streak, because I absolutely love this first game, and I think a lot of people did as well. So that's the games I got a chance to play and received in the mail this week. As you could tell, I played a lot of games in the last week, and that's mostly just because I was on vacation the week before, so I had to catch up. But man, Pandemic Legacy, Between Two Cities, just so good. So let's talk about a game that I got a chance, or that I've never gotten a chance to play, despite the fact it's been on my shelf for a very long time. It was actually one of the first games I got in the first couple months, and that is The Haunting House from Twilight Creations, Inc. Now, this game I think I picked up used maybe at Gen Con, I want to say, and it looks really cool. It's Friday night, you're bored, the old Brettenstein place is just screaming your name. Let's face it, you and your friends just aren't that bright. You've seen the movies, heard the stories, dreamt the dreams. You, of course, didn't believe any of them. What a shame. The bed is made, everyone goes in the front, the first one out the back wins. So essentially, you are in this haunted house trying to escape because it's freaking haunted, but the tiles are going to be moving all around the board, and it's going to get very difficult. And this game appeals to me. The theme really appeals to me. I've looked at the artwork. I like the artwork. It plays up to 6 players, which is always a good thing. time link. It doesn't have a time link on the box. That's a little bit of a problem. But so why hasn't this hit the table, you may be asking? Bauer, what's your deal? Why isn't this hit the table? And the main reason why it's not at the table is because I have yet to play a Twilight Creation games that I really like that much. I think I played 3 other Twilight Creation games, and they were all god awful. Maybe next week I'll talk about another one of those games that has never hit the table because it was so bad. That being said, I do kind of like Zombies, and I think Zombies is a decent game, but just all the other Twilight Creations, and I got online and I looked it up, and a lot of other people really hate a lot of their games as well, kind of just detracted me from playing this game. So now it sits on the shelf, waiting. Actually, it's been subjected to going all the way up there because it actually fits up there. So most of the time people don't even see it, so nobody even suggests it. But one day, this will get played, I will review it, and hopefully it's good, because I've actually heard some good things from my friend Larry of the Guys, Games, and Beer podcast, which you should check out if you like Guys, Games, or Beer. Not Guys. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about here. But yeah, The Haunting House, it's got a bunch of expansions, so apparently people are buying and enjoying it, but this is just one that has not hit the table for me. So that is The Haunting House. So man, lots of games to talk about. Next week I will get to the questions of the week and that sort of thing. And if you have a question of the week, be sure to post in the comments below. Just to go over it one more time in the comments below, please let me know. Subscribe button. Are you guys cool with me adding that teeny tiny little thing? Hopefully it drives up attention. I'm going to be on Board Game Breakfast, hopefully today. Big shout out for Milton Chen. He has improved my sound quality by donating that microphone. Thank you so much, Milton. That's awesome. Be sure to check out his videos as well, which I should. Yeah, I'm actually going to put those down in the comments below. I'm going to have 3 links to the comments below, so check out Milton's reviews down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about those. Open Sign Production, my little short that I was in that just dropped last week, which is incredibly not suitable for work. Just a forewarning. Very violent and bloody, inappropriate. I say some dirty things, but they were in a script, so it's okay. And then, but I do want to give you a little, you know what, you made it this far, I'm going to give you a funny story, a little antidote out of the way. And then Chaz Marler, Paradise, he's got a pod pledge going right now, a website he created. That's really cool. Be sure to check it out if you like his stuff, because I think everybody likes his stuff, because he's really good at what he does. And so yeah, I filmed that little short. We filmed it in a bar, and I'm only in it for the first minute, and I'm talking trash. You know, I say some inappropriate language to this guy about how he's being a little B, and he's being a little F, and he's being a D, and let's go get our D sweat on some P, and do all that stuff. And the funny thing was, I only shot for maybe like 20 minutes because, you know, I didn't have too many lines, and they were just, the script was like, say this, be a jerk, embellish it, have some fun. So I did that. But since we were at a bar, and the bar was closed down, but there was still tons of booze, and people were encouraged to bring booze, by the end of the shoot, I was incredibly hammered. Like, I was just super drunk. I got home, I fell asleep on the stairs going up to the 2nd floor. I woke up my wife, and oh my gosh, she was so mad. Because I have a drink. I do have a little bit of a drinking problem. I've curbed it, obviously, since I've got a family, and I'm a preschool teacher, so obviously I can't go out drinking every night. But when I do, I overdo it. So she comes out onto the stairs, and she told me, this is what I said, I was rubbing my mouth on the stairs. So, like, here's the edge of the stairs, and I'm just sort of, ooh. And she's like, what the F are you doing? I was like, I'm brushing my teeth before bed. And, yeah, needless to say, that next morning was a long morning. And what makes that even more gross is I have a St. Bernard dog which sheds everywhere, so my mouth was just full of dog hair. And, yeah, it was... She still gives me grief about that from time to time. But needless to say, it was a fun night, and now you can see the fruits of that labor. Extremely not suitable for work. But anywho, as always, I just want to give a shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. I love the comments, everything. Keep it up, the great work. Well, I mean, keep up, you know, if you're enjoying this content, just keep it up, because I plan on doing this for a very long time. I'm about to hit 2,000 subscribers. I'm about to hit 500,000 views. Those are numbers that I never would have dreamed I would have hit when I first started this. And you guys really keep it, you guys make it happen just by keeping it going, by keeping me excited about the hobby, excited about talking to you guys, excited about doing vlogs, excited about sharing my opinions on these games. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the content. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Oh, this is where I gotta hit the button really fast.